A very, very firm transfer message from Fabrizio Romano late last night on Manchester United's January transfer window. What Ruben Amorim wants, what Ruben Amorim needs, and what he expects to happen going forward. That from Romano. We're going to talk about how that affects the other stories that we have spoken about already over the last couple of weeks on Manchester United's potential loan targets. That might not be happening now. More on that to come. Another teenage forward linked with Manchester United we need to talk about this morning. Also, all of your thoughts as well on where Manchester United are at now that the weekend has played out. Get into the live comment section, everybody. Give me your thoughts and let's get into this show. This is Forever United TV. Welcome along, everybody. If you are in the live show, please do get involved with the community. Get involved in the debate and the chat while we're online. And of course, if you are catching up later on, you're watching the show because you've just arrived at work and you missed it, get your comments in below on everything that we spoke about this morning, everybody. Welcome along. So, one more game to go before we hit the next international break. A pain in the ass, yes, I know, but we are almost there into the fixture pile-up and the busy period where Manchester United's season really will probably be determined, in my opinion. We'll get your thoughts on that as well later on, but this is all bubbling up and taking Manchester United to a certain position where they could go out and attack the January transfer window. Now, it's important to remember, obviously, that Manchester United can only do a certain amount of business in January. It is a difficult window. Is the message from Fabrizio Romano here this morning one of just prepare yourselves for not much, or could it be an absolute bonanza? Because, first of all, this is what Romano has said last night on Manchester United, the January transfer window, and what's happening right now at Manchester United.
But Ruben Amorim sends a clear message. Also in public, talking about January. First of all, he says the window will be open and there is the possibility we do something, so not closing the doors to the opportunity to bring in new players, and it's already an update for Manchester United. But also he says, I don't want players for the short term. So Ruben Amorim is not in for bringing in a player for just a few months. A player will join Manchester United if they believe the player could be an option for the long term. So they don't want to add a player just in terms of number. Also because Man United have one competition this season, plus the FA Cup incoming, and so they want to focus on the Premier League, and they already have several players. So if someone joins in January, is a player who Man United can trust for the present, but also for the future. This is the message of Ruben Amorim. Let's not add players who can help for a few games and then they go back to their club. Let's add someone who can help us today and tomorrow. So this is the message of the coach, and this will be the idea also for the January transfer window. So Manchester United for sure want to watch.
The big thing I took away from that was the fact that he wants, Ruben Amorim that is, long-term players, long-term projects, no quick fixes. Is that a concern for you all? I mean, sometimes you have to dip into the loan market. I know it can seem as a desperate sort of move from clubs, and you're just not fully prepared. And if you need a loan move, then things haven't gone right. Sometimes injuries, sometimes that little bit of boost, maybe you didn't get your summer transfer target, and then you go into January, you can't get a permanent one, so you just get somebody in to work. Ruben really doesn't look like he's keen on the short-term fix. He believes from what he's got within, it seems to me, on this one. Now, this has obviously thrown a spanner in the works from what Romano said there. And, of course, please keep your comments coming in on where you see this. Is it sensible that Ruben Amorim is only going for permanent targets and not like loans or 6-month loan deals, quick fixes like we just said? Is that the right angle to go? Now, we have been speaking about other journalists and what's been said and what's been reported. Has this all just been shut down? Has everything that we have been speaking about, going off what the likes of Ben Jacobs has been saying, for instance, about Conor Gallagher, was this, I'm not saying false news, but is this a non-starter? Or could there be more in the Conor Gallagher? Now, I know a lot of the live chat and a lot of the debate has been around whether Conor Gallagher was good enough, but we was putting that down as a 6-month deal and not a permanent one. And I think most people were going along with that and saying, well, we could probably live with that, but we don't want Conor Gallagher on a permanent deal. Now, if Atletico say there is a obligation at the end of this loan deal, if United do pursue a loan for Gallagher, then would that happen in January? Personally, I'm like everybody else, I think, with this one. I think Conor Gallagher fits United for 6 months. But going off what Romano has said there, I honestly, looking at that, don't see this deal happening now. Now, it might please a lot of people, but again, it's the options. Romano also, in the same video, was talking about watching Manchester United closely this January because the Joshua Zirkzee and Kobbie Mainoo situation could develop. In particular, Joshua Zirkzee also. But Kobbie Mainoo being another midfielder that could potentially leave Manchester United kind of throws a real spanner in the works in terms of what Manchester United can do in January and how many players we can actually have in the squad. Romano says he doesn't want another body. He doesn't want just somebody in there to fill a space. It needs to be someone that he's going to use, is going to work, and is going to be the future of this football team. Now, last night we were talking about the Elliot Anderson situation, and that very report was saying that watch the January and summer transfer window regarding Elliot Anderson. And honestly, looking at that one right now, I still don't think Manchester United are going to be able to deal with Marinakis and get Elliot Anderson in January. I think it's an impossible task for Manchester United. Now, Romano did say that Ruben has openly spoken, like we did the other day, to the public regarding the January transfer window, in that they are already speaking and potentially looking into what deals can happen, and they want to make something work if they can, and they're open to doing business in January. Romano saying that Manchester United behind the scenes are already planning talks for the January transfer window and what is going to happen. But honestly, when you look at what Romano has just said there, listen to what Romano has said, can you honestly see any of them potential targets coming in? Now, I don't know where Stuttgart stand with Angelo Stiller. I don't know if that's been spoken about by Romano, by Ben Jacobs, because that might potentially be a January transfer. This is all completely thrown. This is throwing everything up in the air, really, when it comes to the players that we were speaking about. And if they are going in and going to really invest in January, then it's not going to be cheap for Manchester United. And that just didn't seem to fit with what what I thought Ineos were going to do and how they operate. I don't think we're going to go and spend above and beyond in the January transfer window. Look, unless it's a player you could get in that you were going to buy in summer. And that's what Ruben Amorim has said there, according to Romano, and that's what he's telling the Manchester United hierarchy and the directors of football and recruitment team. Look, they only want to bring in players that are realistically going to play continuously into the future. This isn't going to be a January transfer window where we're just bringing in 6 month loans. Now, all of a sudden, I'm looking at that and I'm going, that with Romano's coming out and saying that, then United are not going to loan anybody. They're not going to bring any loans in at all in January. So what is going to happen? At the moment, we're debating, I think, or we're talking here that this is Manchester United going to spend a lot of money in January and really go for it, or they're not going to spend anything at all, and we won't see anybody come through or coming to Manchester United. We may potentially see academy players come through, or maybe Kobbie Mainoo features for Manchester United going in. I honestly don't know where this leaves us right now, because you cannot ignore what Romano has said there, and he is the man in the know, and we know that he usually does bring up information when it's important and when he knows there is obviously realism behind it. And if he says that Manchester United are only going for permanent deals, then we can either get excited about the January transfer window, or we can sit back and see what Manchester United can do with the rest of this squad and potentially bring academy players through. That's how I read the situation. That's how I read what Romano has said there today anyway. But again, it is a strange one how it's changed, because I've said this before, that Ben Jacobs works alongside Fabrizio Romano in a few different shows. Of course, Romano's not going to give him all of his information and stuff, but they've usually backed each other up on what actually might happen. Will we see Ben Jacobs come out now and say that the potential loan deals are not on the cards? I firmly believe that we're going to get something along the lines of, now the loan deal might not happen because Ruben Amorim wants permanent fixtures. He doesn't want any quick fixes. But if there was an option to extend that loan deal beyond the January transfer, beyond the season, then we could see this deal actually happening. I can see talk like that coming out now on this one. But yeah, I'm kind of in the middle at the moment. I'm not sure who would be actually available in January. I guess you don't know until someone actually goes in and makes an approach for a player. But I think Ruben does need some form of backing in that January transfer window. And maybe it is young players. Maybe it is players that we don't know too much about. So that Manchester United might be scouting. Look, it seems strange for that, because why would you bring somebody in that isn't going to feature this season? You could always cover that up by saying, well, this is a player for the future, and that's what Ruben said in the January transfer window. He only wants players that are going to be here for the future. So maybe it might not be someone who's going to come straight into Manchester United's side. Maybe it might be younger players coming in that they can buy. There's no quick fixes to come into this side that Ruben can't work with long term. Maybe he's looking at it from the coaching side of things. I'm guessing at the moment, as everybody else is, as to how Manchester United's January transfer window is now going to go. So I think it's a case of let's just see how this develops from here, and maybe some of the potential targets. United have this big plan going forward, and they have this idea in their head that they are able to get one of their summer transfer targets this January. We will see. Does this mean that Manchester United have the money and are going to go for a player in January that they would have in the summer? That's the big question on this. And yeah, you've also got to look at this as well. Like, could this be Ruben Amorim feels like the younger players at Manchester United have got a chance? Does this mean the future of Manchester United's academy players looks a bit brighter? And have we got talent coming through there? Are we not going to go out and I'm guessing here as to what Ruben might be looking at and how United are looking at this, because I think Vivell and Wilcox would be on the same page as this. But is there better quality in our academy that's worth investing time into rather than investing money into this January? I would say that it's either crazy January, which nobody expected, and money spent, or I feel academy players are being brought through into the squad as future squad players and potentially first team players through the rest of this season to fill them gaps, because we do need, and we are going to have to rotate that midfield, and I just don't like the idea of it being either just Casemiro or Manuel Ugarte. Kobbie Mainoo is not going to feature because Bruno's going to play every game. And we've already seen Ruben Amorim completely crap the bed when he tried to put Kobbie Mainoo next to Bruno against Brighton, and it all went completely wrong in a 10-15 minute spell. So I actually think that Manchester United right now, we do still need another body in that midfield in January. I don't know how they're going to approach it. It is just put a big question mark on the January transfer window, I would say, more than anything now, hasn't it? So let's get some thoughts on this and some comments in from everybody in the chat as well. Please do get in there. Let me know, everybody. Let me know how you're feeling about this. Did you see the video? What do you reckon? I've played the little clip there from the main part of it from Ruben Amorim, from what Romano has said, but let me know your thoughts on this, please, now, everybody. Real Recognise, welcome back to the Members Club, mate. I didn't know you dropped out. Thank you, buddy, for that. Manny is in with a super chat. Thank you, my friend. My bet is we will see more sales than buys in January. Yeah, I think so. And save the big buys for the summer. We might grab one, but I think other than loans, summer is a game changer. Yeah, and going off that, no loans means no players coming in. That will be interesting. Stiller is not the one. Clip me up if you like, says Ant. You don't know. You don't know, mate, is the honest answer to it. I think you've got to look at it from a few different angles. Again, I said it the other day. If Wilcox and Manchester United are planning this new different characteristics and bringing something different to the side, then Angelo Stiller definitely brings something different to Manchester United's side in that midfield. Forgot to add, money is an issue. Summer suits both tax and profits outlook, says Mane. We don't know how much Manchester United still had left to spend. If we were willing to go out and spend money on Carlos Baleba at the end of the summer transfer window, Manchester United still have money within this PSR cycle. So I wouldn't say that we haven't got money to spend. I would say that Manchester United want to make sure that that money is spent on a player that is going to be used and is going to be a, like Ruben says, and like what Romano says there, or reportedly what Romano says Ruben has said, a permanent fixture. and someone we can look forward to seeing in the future, not just for 6 months from January to the end of the season. And do you like that idea? Let's get some more comments in. I read today that Liverpool are in for Wharton. They've always been in for Wharton, mate, to be honest. We must go all out for Anderson and AN over. Who is AN on that one? Over or another soon before City sell Rodri. Anderson ran the game versus us. He is a 10-year captain. Leader will get 100 caps. Was in the away end on Saturday, and personally I do not understand all the hype around Anderson. All he did on Saturday was run about like his ass was on fire. So many different opinions on Anderson from the game at weekend. This is why we did the show last night and the report that Manchester United are well and truly in for Anderson, and he is a top target. I just cannot see United being able to get him in the January transfer window. I don't. But look, some people still don't rate Anderson. It's great. Like, this is football, isn't it? And this is what football debate brings. It brings different opinions, and I think that that's important as well, because some people still might think that the athleticism of Carlos Baleba is the answer for United. Look, Anderson's got an engine. We know that. And he has got qualities. I've seen a lot. I'm not going to judge him off one Man United game. Like, we can't judge Carlos Baleba off one Man United game. But Anderson has been good this season for Forest, while they have been in the middle of the turmoil of how that club has been run. Baleba has dropped off. Wharton has been in and out with injury and illness throughout the season, performed well when he's been in the side, and he's right up there as well. So none of them are, I would say, stand out pulling up trees. If anyone's performing better than anybody else this season out of the 3 main midfielders, I would say Elliot Anderson was top at the moment anyway. Carl says, youth-wise, I just don't see Amorim using it there. No evidence of him using youth. All you have with Yoro and Dorgu, Sesko, etc. All a bit parts, never mind academy players. Bit part players, Carl, but we're talking here like for someone to potentially probably come on and give Casemiro a rest or something like that. We're not talking starters. We can't be talking starters from the academy. So your point is valid. Some of the younger players that are in the first team squad right now are not, well, he has nursed them in, you could say, the likes of Sesko, and Dorgu still isn't a permanent fixture either. I get it. I do get it. But we're not talking about starters here, are we, in terms of the academy? We can't. There'd be players to come in. And what I think the point I'm trying to make is, and I'm guessing that this is where Manchester United's angle is, and maybe Ruben's, and what Romano is saying, is that they would rather use someone from within than a quick fix in January. It's not so much the future and how Ruben looks at it. I think it's a case of, right, why would we go and bring a lone player in that's not going to be the future when we've got an academy player we could probably use as a squad player, and then we'll see him in the future? Why do we want to spend that money in January on that big wage or a loan fee or whatever it may be when he's not going to be at the club past this season? I'm guessing that's what they might be thinking. Maybe. And that's not a definite, obviously. But we can only look at that and sort of make our own opinions up on it. And I think what Romano has said has definitely added a little bit of confusion to the situation in terms of where we're going to go in January. I like I said before, I just think that kind of takes out the Conor Gallagher situation. Our defence can't hold a clean sheet without Maguire. That shows us that our defence is not good enough. Yoro, De Ligt and Shaw, but De Ligt and Shaw are playing good. I don't think it's that we're not good enough. I think it's that we just have these meltdown moments in games where we just lose our heads. It is the mentality side of things, I think, in defence. Let's see what else we've got in here quickly. Watch the analysis of his England game. He solves problems for established internationals. Anderson could play in any position. He is like a Keane or Gerrard all over the pitch. He can play 8. He can play 6. He can run the game, and he is fantastic on the ball. He is press resistant, strong, and energetic. He is exactly the type of midfielder Ruben Amorim wants in his side. He's a good passer of the ball as well, Elliot Anderson. All roads at the moment lead to an Elliot Anderson signing above everybody else from what I can see. So that was probably the thought from yesterday when we were talking about it last night. I do think there are other clubs interested in Anderson, but I think if Manchester United go out, can we buy him in January? I don't think Forest would release him. I don't. That's my honest opinion. I just don't see Marinakis releasing Anderson unless United do go in and say, look, there's 100 million in January and test Forest. I just don't see it coming about. Now, obviously, you've got the situation like we said last night with Buade. That is a potential signing for United for 35 million. 18-year-old holding midfielder playing for Lille at the moment. Obviously, he is still competing for them over there in Ligue 1. And whether they would release him, I have no idea. United could go and try that one. You've obviously got the Angelo Stiller situation. Could Manchester United drop in for targets in the Championship? Some people have mentioned Hayden Hackney. I don't think Manchester United want to spend any money at all on any other player unless it is one of the well-scouted players. And that does include Angelo Stiller on this as well. And there is a massive interest from Manchester United. We reported last night that, again, Manchester United scouts were at the Stuttgart game this weekend. He could actually be the one. We don't know. Manchester United, like Romano said, are talking behind the scenes already and planning out the January transfer window. So let's just see how this one develops for January. I think United will make moves if they can. I just don't see how we get them big targets in. The other stories as well going around at the moment, and again, this has been going around for a few days now. I've been looking at it and just watching it just to see if there is any more. And there is still interest. Real Madrid now have joined Manchester United apparently in looking at Salzburg's young talent, Kermin Alabegovic. He's a forward. Sorry if I said the name wrong there. Alabegovic, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's playing for RB Salzburg over in Austria. And it's, again, it's not the biggest league. He's 18. He's a wide player. He's a left or a right winger. Just wanted to bring that up as a story because that is doing the rounds. I've never looked at it as a definite, so I've not talked about it too much. But that is definitely a story that is going around at the moment. But again, for us right now, I don't think it even comes into the equation for January because we just don't need any more wide players, to be honest. We don't need any 10s. I mean, you could play this guy as a wing-back if you wanted to really push it out, but he's played all his season up there as a winger, left winger, right winger, traditional, not a defensive wing-back type of player. Look, I guess you could look at the characteristic side of things with players like this from what Wilcox was saying the other day, but I just don't see it. Now, there may be something in it. But apparently they label him another wonder kid, and I don't think that he is realistically anything that's going to happen in January. Keep an eye on it, but maybe something could happen later on into the summer transfer window. We just don't know. So let's just see how that one develops as well. But it's going to be, I reckon, for Manchester United, a priority on the midfielders, and everything else is going to be like these younger players. I think after the last transfer window, I think Manchester United's approach is clear. I think we need to look at the areas of the pitch that we really do need to improve. Goals was the problem last season for United. Yes, you could say there's other areas of the pitch that we were crap, but if we can score goals, we can be competitive, and that's where we're at right now. So priority number one was the forward line. 200 million plus spent, and we are right up there scoring goals and competitive in the league so far this season. The defence, obviously, you could put that down to some controlling of the game, midfield, and having a bit more possession. Midfield definitely needs addressing next for Manchester United. So with these other forward players and these younger players, I think they're down the list in terms of what Manchester United's priorities are. It has to be central midfield and nothing else. I know we need wing-backs. I know we've got a weak link in Dalot on the left-hand side, but midfield needs sorting before anything else. And I think Manchester United they've got their ship in order now, and I do think that we are moving in the right direction when it comes to the transfer windows and recruitment, because we are prioritising major positions. We're not trying to overhaul the whole team. Let's fix this part of the team and let's move forward. And full concentration is on the midfield now. I think that is a good way to go, because we've seen the effect it's had with, like I said, the forward line. If you go out and spend a lot of money on an issue and deal with that, then you can concentrate on somewhere else, because I don't think we really need to invest too much into the forward. I would like one more striker, of course, but you're not worrying about it as much, are you? You can move on to midfield and fix that. We know we're pretty much sorted for the forward line for the next few years now. And you've got young academy players coming through that might even hit the mark as well in the future. So no real issue there at the moment. One more striker maybe if we get into Europe next season. And then you're looking at the big problem, the midfield. And I'm looking at the defence and I'm thinking, if we've got a better midfield in there, a more consistent midfield, does that help the defence? 100% it does. Do we control games more? Limiting teams to as much possession and creating them chances to come on to our defence? Yes. I think this is the Arsenal model right now and where they're at. That midfield is absolutely awesome of Arsenal's, and they control games. And when it comes to defending then, full concentration on bits and bobs and little snippets of possession and play coming through past that midfield they can deal with. That's where Manchester United's next situation is, and we do need to fix that midfield before anything else. So I'm not really for any of the other sort of transfer targets, some of the younger forwards that are out there that could potentially come to United. Not as bothered about them at the moment, and I just think we need to concentrate on the necessary anyway. Let's get some more comments in on this one. Would you spend that much money in January? Yeah. Mr. Creed says, sign Anderson and loan them Kobe. Maybe. There is ways around things. Could Kobe Mainoo fit into that Nottingham Forest side? Potentially. Would people be happy with that? I'm not too certain. I don't know. Some of the Manchester United fans really do like to cling on to their own players, and Kobe Mainoo is still seen as a top player by a lot of Manchester United fans. But then again, Manchester United cannot be thinking of what the fans think in terms of the players and the plan. They've got to be looking at what Ruben Amorim is going to do. And trust me, if United keep on winning games, no one's going to be as bothered about Kobe Mainoo. How many times have I said that before? But that's the truth. If you're winning games, no one's worried about what other players are doing. I think maybe getting Gehi and Jan might be it. There is a story on that, and actually we spoke about this the other day. But Crystal Palace apparently have come out. Steve Parish, the chairman at Crystal Palace, has come out and said, I've not seen this yet, I've just seen this reported somewhere, and someone has tweeted it out as well, that they would prefer to let Mark Gehi go on a free than sell him to anybody in January. We will see. We will see. I get what he's saying with that. They've done it before and players have left, but yeah, I mean, what is more important to Crystal Palace? Competing and trying to get back in Europe, or making that money on one player in January? What can they realistically look to make on that? We'll talk about that again in a moment as well. But just while you're mentioning Gehi there, and I do think that if United put a bid on the table, it may tempt Crystal Palace. But going off what was said yesterday, maybe not now. Again, it's changing all of the time, isn't it, the transfer window right now? Or the transfer window's not even open, but we're just debating what potentially might happen. And that's changed about 5 times already in the last 2 months. We need 2 midfielders, says Mane. Don't laugh, but I reckon we get an 8 and Leacher could be our 6. He knows the position and can carry the ball. People keep bringing in Lisandro Martinez. He hasn't played there once in the last 3 years. Let's not forget this for Manchester United. He's always been a centre-back. I think Ruben wants him to be that extra man in midfield, but from centre-back. Like we've seen Luke Shaw do. Like we've seen him come forward. I think he feels like he would play that role better, which is why I feel when he is fit, Leacher comes back into the side. We were debating this the other day. Manny, don't think that I'm ignoring what you're saying there. I'm saying that he isn't going to play a sort of role in there. I think he will start at centre-back, but he will be that main man that Ruben uses coming forward and making up the numbers in midfield. So it's a yes and a no. In terms of starting and position on the paper, on the team sheet, I don't think Lisandro Martinez is that midfielder. I think he plays the midfield role from centre-back. And I think that's what Ruben Amorim wants from Lisandro Martinez. I'm just checking through other news as well. And you know, I've seen what Gary Neville was saying at the weekend, and it was regarding, I think, Benjamin Sesko and his performance, talking about him not actually being up there with the other players that Manchester United have brought in, players like Matheus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo. I mean, Benjamin Sesko's performances come under scrutiny this weekend. Honestly, I think people are looking at the situation with Benjamin Sesko and just overanalyzing it. I really do. I'm like, just give the guy a chance. You're looking at Cunha and Mbeumo here, who have hit the ground running, who are proven players who've played in the Premier League for years. And you're talking about a 22-year-old who hasn't hit the mark yet. And Gary Neville going in on him. He's well off it compared to other summer signings that Manchester United made up front in Cunha and Mbeumo. He looks awkward. He had a couple of really good opportunities in the first half when the ball got played over the top and his touch wasn't quite right. For £80 million, you can say he's young, he's a lot of potential, and he's only just settling in, but you still want to see a bit more. Look, the ball moved away from him a couple of times. It happens. It happened to Matheus Cunha a few times in that first half, but he's not picking up on that. To isolate one game, I'm sorry, he is 20 times better than Rasmus Højlund. There was moments in that Forest game where Benjamin Sesko was holding the ball up and bringing other players into play brilliantly, something that we've never seen from Rasmus Højlund at Manchester United. So, look, again, people trying to find negatives in Manchester United's performance. Just look where we are in the league right now, and everybody would have taken that at the start of the season still. It's not as bad as people are trying to make it seem, is what I'm saying. Quickly, before we forget, while we're talking about Forest as well, shout out, well, not so much a shout out, but the train incident with Nottingham Forest and the hero Forest fan with the stabbing issue. I'm sure you've seen this in the news and what's happened. Evangelos Marinakis, has come out with a statement from Nottingham Forest on this. And this is from the BBC right now. Nottingham Forest have released a statement following the mass stabbing on a train on Saturday night. A number of London-based Nottingham Forest fans were travelling on a service after the club's home game against Manchester United. The club wishes to express its deepest concerns and heartfelt sympathy to all those affected by the shocking attack. Marinakis actually says, everyone at Nottingham Forest is shocked and deeply saddened by what happened. The courage and selflessness shown by our supporters on that train represents the very best of humanity and the very best of our club's community. We will make sure any supporters caught up in the incident receives whatever financial support they require to enable them to access the best possible medical care as they recover. Our thoughts and prayers are with all those affected. Evangelos Marinakis, the owner of Nottingham Forest. Yeah, wanted to put that out there and just, obviously there's more important things than football, and it is a football family when it comes to things like that. And yeah, world's gone mad. It really has. It really has. By the way, please keep popping the likes on the video, everybody, as well. If you're enjoying the content, thank you so much, everybody who has already done it. It's well over 300 likes on the show. And yeah, loving that. And the community, again, I can see it in the chats and everybody having a bit of a ball on a Monday morning. Again, no, I know there are people that are not fully convinced by what Manchester United are doing right now. And I know there are still doubts and big doubts. Warranted. I'll keep saying that. Very warranted. And I feel realistic also. But one thing I have picked up on, and what is happening right now, in particular in our chat anyway, is the football conversation that continues and the talk of the football problems and fixes with this team and simple things that can be done to make Manchester United move further up that league table. So even the people that are not fully convinced are, I feel, seeing what is happening at Manchester United here. And Gary Neville picking out something on Benjamin Sesko. It's, to be honest, it's poor punditry. It's pretty poor, if you ask me. Like, why would you pick up on Benjamin Sesko's performance at weekend? There were moments in that game. Why is no one picking up on Benjamin Sesko's influence in the Chelsea game? Or the influence when he set up Bryan Mbeumo? Or the goals that he scored in the other games as well? Like, you can look at a lot more positives as well as the negatives. Balance it. I'm not saying it's all positive. But why would you make a point of bringing out that he isn't as good as Cunha and Mbeumo? Why are you comparing him to them? He's a different type of player, and he's a younger player who's inexperienced. And for 80 million, why don't you just go out and just add money to the value of Benjamin Sesko? He's not 80 million, Gary. So, again, pundits still trying, even former Manchester United players, still trying to put the negative onto Manchester United and downplay what's actually happening. It's like people need United these days to be bad. And I can actually feel it in some of the fans as well. It's like, no, because I'm not convinced by what's happening at Manchester United. It's no one in our chat, by the way. I'm still seeing it online. People still want to be proved right because they said that Manchester United are going to collapse again, and we're still seeing the same old United, laughing at United, saying that we're back, and fans getting overexcited and over egging certain situations. No, it's not. It's got nothing to do with that. You can see that Man United are better from last season. Facts are painful for some people, especially the ones that want to ignore the facts. United are better than last season. Deal with it. Just deal with it. That's all I'm telling you to do. And you will feel a lot better about yourself. Accept it. Accept that Manchester United might be actually doing something this season. That's what I'm saying to you all. And yeah, you cannot argue with where we are in the table either, and the points that we've got. So again, looking at Sesko and that performance, I'm happy with Sesko so far. I am. I say it all of the time, and you know, watching me, if you've watched the channel for a while, I've always said this, like, give the players 2 years. Give the players 2 years to see where they're at. And if they're consistently in the side and being picked, then we can judge them properly and we can say that they are going to be something for Manchester United. I think, 10 games into a season and we're already saying that Sesko is way off it. I'm saying Manchester United have got 17 goals this season, are up there as the second or third highest goal scorers in the Premier League, and Benjamin Sesko has played a part in that. That's how I look at it anyway. And yeah, Manchester United are 2 points off second in the league. That's crisis. Jesus. My God. Anyway, more super chats in. One from Manny again. On fire, mate, this morning. Sesko has run the perfect lines. His first touch eluded him this week. That happens. Neville was carried by a great side for a decade. Sit down, Gary. Let's get some more comments in, please, everybody. Get into me. Give me your thoughts on everything we've spoken about so far. Going on Sesko, going on the midfielders we need in. Is there anybody in that Manchester United academy that could potentially come through if we don't go out and buy anybody in the January window? Nothing more proves this, Adam. You had a season ticket on Sky till we started winning. Saying that again there, matey. On Sky, talking about how bad Manchester United are for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then we start winning and performing well. No one's messaged me. I'm not bothered at all, by the way. I would rather sit here and talk positive with you guys here on YouTube than go on Sky and try to fight Manchester United's corner against pundits who really just don't want Manchester United to succeed. Well, because they might not be in a job if United are any good. Well, look, someone did... it was Greg who said, actually, Charlie Austin... give me a shout out on Sky the other day as to saying what my aspirations were at the start and what I said. And he actually brought me into the conversation. So big up to Charlie on that one for actually mentioning me being the positive talking Manchester United fan. Well, everyone else is just trying to downplay things. I'd love to get back on with Jamie O'Hara again. Last time we had a conversation on there was about Spurs being a good side and Manchester United not changing under Ruben Amorim. He's not going to change. Well, he did change, and we're level points with Spurs. And Spurs apparently are competing this season. It's funny old game football, isn't it? Yeah, I'd rather be in United's position than Spurs is right now. That's all I'm saying. Looking at what happened on the pitch with Thomas Frank, Van der Ven and Jed Spence at weekend. I'm sure you've seen it. We talked about it on Football Talks yesterday, actually. And again, we're doing my prediction show and our Football Talks live show on a Monday morning straight after this show as well, everybody. So make sure that you do stick around for that one as well. That'll be coming straight after we finish here on FUTV. If we are going to play transition football with plenty of long balls, then Semenyo would be a lot of a goal threat. Should we pay up? I think with his new contract that he signed, I'm pretty certain Semenyo has got a release clause in there. Someone's going to snap Semenyo up. That guy just looks absolutely ridiculous. He looks so good. I mean, we'll talk about the Bournemouth City game on Football Talks in a minute, but take him all day long. Honestly, he is a brilliant player. Let's see. Spurs are a mess. Tommy, the Swank engine is losing the room. As in Thomas Frank, that is there. I think you're supposed to say, Manny. I mute the TV if Neville is commentating on Manchester United matches. You just watch our watch along, mate. Ours is a lot more fun. Mute your TV and then just watch along with us like everybody else does on a watch along day. Again, we will be doing a watch along for the Spurs game this weekend. That's turning into be a crunch game now for Manchester United. And look, the game could go either way. I still feel confident that I still feel confident that we are in it and we're going to win, but it's a bit of a murky water while Man United's away form, isn't it? It is. Look, I would love to see a little bit more consistency there, but do you know what I mean? A draw against Spurs at weekend, and don't shoot me for this. A draw against Spurs at weekend isn't a bad result for Manchester United. It keeps us that unbeaten run. It gives us 8 points from the last 4 games. And it's still keeping us in touch. And then we move on to, I'm not saying lesser games, but we're moving on to other games again there. And we've just got to build our way into getting results away from home. I mean, this season, we've had 2 defeats away from home so far out of the, how many, 5 games we've played? Yeah, 5 games away from home. We've had 2 defeats, 2 draws and 1 win. So if we can get something from Spurs, I still think that's a bit of a step in the right direction for United. You're still up there and in amongst it. I think we can beat Spurs though. I really do. I think United can take Spurs down at weekend, and that would position us absolutely perfectly to then come back from that international break and go all out and go for it in the fixture in the festive period. So yeah, I mean, looking at Manchester United's fixtures, by the way, just to go through these now. So right, so our next 6 games, Manchester United. So obviously it's Spurs this weekend, then it's the break. We come back and we play Everton on the Monday Night Football. Really annoying that we have to wait an extra 2 bleeding days before we play. That is frustrating, honestly. But Everton at home, Crystal Palace away. And then it's West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth. Now, I'm looking at them fixtures there, and I'm going, Man United can definitely pick up enough points to be well and truly in that top 6 at least, going into the Christmas fixtures. That's what we've got to be aiming for. Them next 6 games, go forward, and I think enough points. If we're in the top 6, I'm happy with that. I think that's where United should look. And then we're talking about what we did at the start of this show, where Man United are potentially bringing somebody in January, and we can move forward from there. Let's just see how that develops, and let's see how that helps Manchester United going into January, because January is a mega month for Manchester United and the games coming. Let's concentrate on November and December first of all, and I think United have got games there that we can really pick up points in, and I think we can really make our mark. Before we leave the show, please pop a like on the video, everybody. Thank you so much, everyone who has contributed today as well. Super chats have been mega. The likes have been fantastic. The conversation has been great. Again, get your comments in when the live finishes. Pop a like on the video. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'm going to cross right over to Football Talks now, and we're going to continue the Premier League chats and see how many games I got right on my predictor from Friday. So I'll see you all over on Football Talks in just a moment. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, I'll see you in a minute.